school bully, okay? Like, that's what she was known for. She was in our class. She was just mean to literally everyone. She also played probably every sport at our, like, feeder high school, so you just didn't mess with this bitch. Like, homegirl was jacked at 12 years old. So this day there was like a presentation in the cafeteria and we had to go to it with our homeroom and sit with our homeroom, and it's like a lunch and learn type of deal. So they gave us lunch, we ate, and like listened to the speaker. Presentation goes great. Me and Julia are sitting together. We're chatting, eating, whatever.
So late to school, y'all. It is 8:11. So this was the earring that was stuck in my ear, and this is what it's supposed to look like. Yo, when I felt it, I was like, no way. Like, it was just no way. Like, no way that was stuck in my ear, bro. No way. And on top of that, at that same time when I was like wiggling out and trying to like get it out, I was feeling sick too. So I was like on the toilet for a good like 10 minutes. But then my dad came with tweezers and stuff like that, and he was just
wake up to his wife carefully shaking me to wake me up. She goes, honey, come downstairs. I don't want to wake him up. He has work tomorrow. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? So I went downstairs and she's like, sit at the table with me. So we're sitting at the table and she's like, I hope that we can keep this quiet. She was like, my husband's done this before, and that she can't have any of her friends knowing or anybody at school because she's a PTA mom. So she offered me money to keep my mouth shut. And then she let me go back upstairs and lay with him. What the fuck? Story time about the guy who pretended
and they showed their true colors and we found out who they were, and apparently it was some girl that like my cousin didn't even talk to like that, so it was like odd, like she was just being messy because it was COVID. And boom shakalaka, me and the girls are arguing back and forth, and we're like, all right then, pull up to the crib. And this was around the time where everybody used to share their lows on Snap. And so they obviously had my low, and
so that way in case this day came, then you know it wouldn't look suspicious. Well, I don't know what she threatened my sister with, but she scared the hell out of her, so she gave her my dad's number. And so my sister told me whenever she got home, so I went to school the next day. And it was like a surprise party whenever I walked in the office. The dean was there, the principal was there, and my guidance counselor. So I got in trouble, and then they were like, oh, you're mad at me, but then when I am hungry, you're also mad at me? Like, make it make sense, pal.
The next thing I got in trouble for was for bringing clothes that I bought with gift cards that my dad and stepmom gave me to my mom's house. So, like, I wasn't allowed to bring anything from my dad's house to my mom's house. But obviously my mom didn't care, so, like, she let me bring stuff from her house to my dad's house. Because, like, the next thing is honestly just, like, a weird story that happened. But, like, my old babysitter, for some reason, told my dad that
everyone that our relationships were extremely toxic and we get treated like crap. And clearly it was just deflection because her boyfriend literally told her to not bring up marriage in front of him because it makes him uncomfortable. Also, a lot of y'all are asking me why I stayed friends with her for so long. Not that this makes it any better, but this was all spread out over a long period of 13 years. I never really had the time to sit down and put it all together. I'm not proud to say this either, but she was just one of those people where being her friend was easier than being her enemy.
So right away I started being friends with this group of girls, and they were super nice. And I was also friends with this group of guys. Well, since I was friends with both groups, we all started hanging out all the time, but only whenever I was there. The boys just didn't want to hang out with the other girls. And after a few months, the girls started acting really strange. So anytime that I would hang out with the boys and not invite them, they would ignore me for a whole week. Meaning they wouldn't talk to me in school, they wouldn't answer my messages, or anything like that. Not a single—
Hey, it's me.
friend, oh, you should hook up with her. She's totally into you. Your girlfriend won't find out because she doesn't even know any of the people at this party. So he hooks up with the girl there. Then Luke calls me and says, OMG, like he cheated on your best friend. So I immediately call my best friend to tell her. And because she likes to talk to Luke about all her problems, she calls him. So he goes over there to comfort her. I didn't hear anything from them till a week after. My best friend posted him on her story and goes, my new boo. Story time about my shitty ass ex-boyfriend. So
just been through so much together, so no matter how close of friends you are at the moment, you just know you would never do anything to like upset the other person or like against the other person. Guess that's not the case, and it sucks. Like, I'm so mad right now, and I'm psycho when I'm mad, and I still like can't get myself to say anything bad about that person to anyone, and I like continue to keep talking good about this person. I'm trying to help them out of a situation they got themselves in the first place after they already did what they did. I'm a no BS type of person, especially with friendships like that. Like, you do what that person just did, like, forget about it.
And I remember telling her, like, oh, I thought I saw it in your car. Like, do you want me to run out and grab it for you? Because I had already put my share of the bill in the table on the check. And she was like, no, like, I know for sure that I left it at my house. Like, I swear on everything, it's in my house. So do you mind just spotting me and I'll pay back later? So obviously I said yes. And later when I asked her, like, hey, like, is everything going okay with, like, the PayPal, like, insinuating that, like to pay me back and everything? Because usually we would, like, pay each other back through PayPal. She was like, oh, like, what do you mean? And
It was just awkward. Like, so painful.
that is
It was so embarrassing. So, our senior year, so many things went wrong, and homecoming was one of them. Literally did not have a homecoming because we actually did. Coming for 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes, we had a homecoming. We took hours and hours to like prepare it, and it was so nice.
Mid-dance,
the power
went out.
Freaking shuts off. So like everybody goes home, we're cleaning up everything.
Must be the shit if I really claim you. Bust it open, bend over, put my back in it. He addicted like it got a little.
for a drink, he spilt vodka all over his clothes. So we're all sitting there, and then he comes out in the exact same clothes that he had on before. And she was like, oh, I thought you spilt vodka all over your clothes. And he was like, oh, we put them in the dryer. So she literally got up, went over, and smelt his clothes, and they did not smell like vodka. So after that, she starts flipping the fuck out. She's like, why don't your fucking clothes smell like vodka? And then he came up with something. He was like, oh, she got confused. I spilt water all over my clothes. So as we're all watching a movie, it's funny. He gets on the jet ski and literally drives away. I'm not even joking. He left me there for 3 minutes. I could barely see land. And then he ended up coming back and he was like, ha ha ha, da da da. I never saw him. Story time about how my ex-boyfriend stole all my shit and then gave it to his new girlfriend. So a little background information. I was 23 and I had been dating this guy who we're gonna call Derek for 2 years. Now at first I thought that our relationship was perfect. Of course, you guys know how it goes. But then the one day he came home from work and he told me that he had been cheating on me throughout our whole relationship.
Mind you, I am now 22 years old. I just graduated college and this still makes my blood boil. It pops into my brain like maybe once a month. So you know how in middle school you have homeroom classes? There was this girl in my class that I was kind of family friends with. We were friends and our parents knew each other through us, and then they became friends because she was like one of the only other Korean girls at my school. We'll call this girl Julia. Me and Julia were pretty tight at this point, and I wish nothing but the best for her. Like, I hope she's doing great. This is not her fault. We were also in this class with this girl who was basically just the fucking
What it was about, so I was expecting this. She was like, Gavin told me that you hit him last time he was here. And I was like, yeah, he pretty much was stabbing my dog. And then she's like, oh, well, you know, he doesn't mean any harm. He plays with the dogs like that at home. Like, okay, sis, this story time about how I tried to stick up for this kid on the bus, but it got me suspended. So a little background information, I was 12 and in 7th grade. So it was a Wednesday, and when school ended, I got on the afternoon bus. And there was this boy named Josh that I was friends with. So I went and I sat next to
Give me peso, extendo. I carry bitches like I'm Prego.
Nitty-gritty details, immediate effect. Me and him are going back and forth, and he's telling me that, like, basically both of my best friends started arguing with her outside the train station on the way to school, and then they all started scrapping. And I was like, okay, but how do you think that I come into this equation? And he was like, well, because you're the one that has a problem with her. And I'm like, well, no, clearly they've got their own separate issue with her, because I didn't fucking order them and say, yeah, you, be gone, go and mash her up. Like, what the fuck? Anyway.
Into my looks. I sat next to him and he made small talk asking about what school I used to go to and that. And when I tell you your girl was stuttering, then he wanted to see my timetable, so I showed him, and guess what? He's basically in all my lessons except 2 or 3, but yeah, he started smiling and said I'm glad. What do you mean are glad, like oh my god? Anyways, the rest of the lesson, we just talked till I showed him I had
and she's just going to turn her locations off permanently with me. I'm not even going to talk about him and I, but just know that we split on bad terms. But of course, when we split up, my best friend was so there for me, so supportive, and was telling me how he was trash and I didn't deserve him, and she knew all along. So how did I figure out that they've been secretly like with each other? Her and I had plans and she told me that she had to cancel because her family's beach house was going to be open and no one was Airbnb-ing it, and she said that they were gonna go. Normally when she'd go,
she was dating John, so anytime like she wanted to hang out with him, she'd have to do it through a friend. So this one time she asked me if I wanted to go over to John's house with her. And like obviously I said yes because John like had money. Like he had super cool things and like stuff like that. Anyways, the day rolls around where we're supposed to hang out with John, and he tells us his cousin Ted is coming. By the way, that's not his real name. Anyways, me being the innocent little person I am, I didn't think anything of it.
So I had to chew it. Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck.
What we ever did was like make out. In that year and some change that we were together, this man had sexual relations with over 10 women. And I had no clue. That literally all came out once we broke up. But nobody wanted to tell me, they just wanted to look at me crazy. There definitely were signs that I was just ignoring. Like I think I went over to his house to ask him to like the girls ask guys dance. And I had a poster and everything, and I was like, come outside, and he's like, I can't. And all the popular boys are blowing up my phone on my actual accounts, like for part 3. Part 3 about how I catfished all the popular boys in my school, and they found out. So like I said, I wake up the next morning, and thankfully it was a Sunday. And like I said, I woke up to text messages from all of Alex's friend group. And all these text messages were like, are you the one running the Ashley account? We saw screenshots of all the messages between you and Kate. So I texted Kate and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how does everybody know? And she made some bullshit ass system on there. And then I call him off my mom's phone. He answers the phone and hangs up right away. Well, we were supposed to have a little party at his house too, that all of my friends were going to. So I texted every single one of them. None of them answered the phone. And I remembered that my one friend had shared her location with me before. So I went and looked at her location and where was she at? My boyfriend's house. So while I sat at home crying that whole week, he was throwing parties and cheating on me with my friends. And when we went back to school, he acted like we were never in a relationship. Storytime about how I was sexually harassed twice while working at Walmart. So a little back.
Leave the store. Keep in mind that they're already aware that they have in fact stolen the fragrance, so at this point they're just like waiting for them to leave the store. One at this point attempts to leave the store and is immediately like apprehended and is like, nope, we know you're stealing, like come with us. So the one like left in the store is like, oh shit, like my friend just got caught, like I'm stuck, like I gotta go. So this teenage boy decides that he's gonna try to like, you know, make a run for it out of the store and just like try to dip up out of there, which, you know, do you, boo? Let's see how this goes for you. Takes the opportunity to
As soon as class is over or as soon as school is over, if you don't have band or cheerleading or swimming, something after school, you have to leave. Like the security guards, the teachers, they're gonna push you out of the freaking hallways. And everyone's going down to the first floor and I'm taking her to the 4th floor. So when we enter like the staircase, I had noticed these boys and they were like kind of looking at me weird. I kind of just brushed it off because I was like, they're probably not looking at me anyways, because I was not known in that school. No one really knew me. I minded my business for the most part. So I had dropped her off to her class, safe and sound, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to get out.
Things. Anyways, he kept trying to like hint at me that he wanted to kiss me. And obviously like I knew he was hinting at wanting to kiss me because, for example, he said something along the lines of, they're probably kissing right now. What do you think we should do? I kid you not, guys. I literally said stare at each other because I was scared and this guy was just like giving me the ick and I've never had my first kiss before. So then after that, he just straight up asked if I've ever had my first kiss before because it was pretty obvious.
My Stalker Unalived Someone, Part 4, some extra details. So I got a lot of comments asking me, why didn't you go to the police? Girl, why don't you call the cops? It was definitely a topic of conversation in my family whether or not we should get the police involved. But at the end of the day, he really wasn't doing anything illegal. Like, yeah, I guess you could say like stalking and harassment is illegal, but at the same time, this is New York City, Brooklyn, New York.
Like the way that you guys are hanging around each other. Once again, he gives me the same excuse. So he pretty much said that he didn't care. And the one night him and I were supposed to hang out, but he canceled on me last minute. And her and I didn't get along and she never Snapchatted me before, but then I get a Snapchat of her and him making out at his house. Storytime about how I almost got kidnapped at a grocery store. So a little background information, I was 16 and it was during the summertime. And I was super excited because I had just got my license. But my parents had this idea that if they made me drive around and do all their errands,
it's about damn time. In the minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump.
Well, usually my friend group and I were never invited to any kind of parties, but this one girl who had just moved to our school, she was throwing a huge party and she invited everybody, not just the popular kids. So obviously my friends begged me to go. They were like, please, like, we can sneak over there. Your parents go to bed early anyways. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how my cat got me grounded, and yes, I am talking about my pet cat. So like I said, my best friends are begging me to come out of the house. They're like, listen, like, do whatever you have to come to this party. This is the first and probably only...
Seriously, Derek! Where is everyone? Sophie, hot potato, pass it on. Why would you give me the potato? I'm your best friend. Timmy, hot potato, pass it on. Are you kidding me right now? I'm glad you're safe, Sophie. Yeah, no thanks to you. How could you pass me the potato? I thought we were best friends. I was scared. I couldn't find anyone else to pass it to. We're not best friends anymore. Don't talk to me ever again. Sophie, don't do this. Goodbye. Sophie!
Recording on his phone at this time. So we broke up, and now there's a video of me half naked on YouTube and him exposing me. Story time about the guy who was obsessed with me. We're gonna call him Ryan. Well, Ryan had a crush on me for a long time. And one night, one of our friends asked me to go to a party with them. And Ryan was going to be the DD. And everything was good. We were all having a great time at the party. Well, Ryan and I went off to one of the bathrooms. And we started making out. And while we're making out, he goes, I really want to fuck you, but I can't.
They tryna be. They tryna be. She wanna be. That bitch is a.
What I was saying to her in confidence and running her mouth to her man. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. He was telling me basically what knickers I was wearing, what I had for breakfast, what I had for dinner, what I did on this day, what I did on that day. And I was in disbelief. She was dragging me through the mud. And then he then mentioned her friend, a friend that she had. And I was like, that's not her friend, that's my cousin. She's me a picture of Taser Black. This is Taser Black for reference. He sent me a picture of Taser Black and my heart sank to the bottom of my stomach. I was like, that's Taser Black. That's not her brother. Yeah, and obviously the guy that's got the podcast and stuff, yeah. So I was like, no, this isn't real, no.
Your house unlocked. Part 2. I explained the situation to the 911 operator, and she told me that police were on their way. I stood there rooted to the spot, and not long after my parents got home. The police arrived shortly after, and told us that thieves usually wait until homeowners leave, check the door, and if it's unlocked, they go in and take valuables. They checked the house, but found no one. They said whoever it was probably left when they heard that someone was home. They told us to make sure...
This same girl has spread multiple lies about me, such as I cheated on my boyfriend, and someone else spread the same thing about my boyfriend. So what actually happened with my boyfriend's rumor was this guy that wasn't even like a part of my boyfriend's friend group, but he hung out with them on spring break for like a night or two, and he cheated on his girlfriend, and when his girlfriend found out, he like brought everyone else down with him and said that they all did it too. All those boys were cuffed, and none of them even went out on that night. So like, how low do you have to be? And the girl that spread my rumor literally cheated on her boyfriend on a cruise ship and like told me it was
the shooting at the whatever bar. And she says yes. And then she says, okay, please hold. Like, wow. How 911 go put you on hold? All this is happening and they're still shooting. Like, clip after clip after clip, y'all. Like, this is still happening. We're watching this happen, like, real time. And then I look away for a second. We come TikToks of Robert and I, and Lucy's best friend Ellie decided to comment. Ellie commented something along the lines of, look at Robert finally getting some attention. And Lucy, which is his ex-girlfriend, commented, he can finally leave me alone now. So I screenshotted it and I showed it to Robert, and he was like, oh, just forget about it. It was nothing. Block them. But instead of that, I decided to be petty and I posted another TikTok saying, look at Robert finally getting some attention. 5 minutes later, Ellie Snapchatted me and she was like, I don't know why you're doing that. Like, I just commented that because he was literally...
It got to the point where I was asking my dad to pick me up after school because I was like, I don't want to walk home when I know someone's following me. What could he do? Along with him following me home, there was also something Man, this was just crazy. One of my old houses, there was a park behind my house. I remember one day I looked outside my window at the park and I saw him. He wasn't just chilling at the park. Imagine this is my house, the park is here. Like, looking at him from the window, you would think he's standing right in front of me. That's how close the park was. And that's how close.
Like, no one's fault but mine.
Of that, even the people you trust the most can still stab you in the back. Just don't get it. Those friendships where you guys have just been through so much together, so no matter how close of friends you are at the moment, you just know you would never do anything to like upset the other person or like against the other person. Guess that's not the case, and it sucks. Like, I'm so mad right now, and I'm psycho when I'm mad, and I still like can't get myself to say anything bad about that person to anyone, and I like continue to keep talking good about this person. I'm trying to help them out.
I have a really low SMEX drive. Like, if I wasn't getting paid, I could probably go a year without like having it. As long as I have the ones in the bedside drawer, you know, like, I'll be fine. A friend is going to the chemist and picking me up some benzoyl peroxide, I think it's called. I've never tried it. I don't know if it's gonna help. Like, it's probably a bigger issue than that. But yeah, I'm gonna keep trying for the dermatologist, and hopefully I'll be able to get some answers.